Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Happy Monday. We certainly had an exciting weekend, but is this week going to be even better? Because there is going to be an investment announcement today. Can it be even bigger than what was announced this weekend? Let's talk about it and speculate and talk about everything else that's going on in the world of crypto today. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out the day, obviously, much better than last week. This right here, as you can see, happened a couple days ago. Bitcoin went from $85,000, literally went up $10,000 in a single day. And now we're hovering a little bit under around $93,000. This is actually a point I said I wanted to see Bitcoin at. This would actually confirm that we did hit a bottom at 78,000, and now we're definitely recovering. Right? So it's looking pretty good, but the story is just not with Bitcoin this time. Obviously, a lot of other alts like ADA that jumped up like 60-something%. And then you had XRP do like 30-something%. And you had many others that also did the same. So obviously, this is good, not just for Bitcoin, but for many, many alts out there. And will this continue? Well, let's see. Today, the US market is opening up in the green. I'm actually surprised last night, Asia and Europe didn't really buy. So this is more like a North American thing. Okay, but after the big bump, I thought that Asia would FOMO and then Europe would FOMO. It seemed like neither one did. I think there's still a little concern about the tariff situation. But today, the US market's opening up way in the green. You have Coinbase up 7%. You got MicroStrategy that's up 14%. Good thing we see some kind of momentum in MicroStrategy. They just have been getting beaten. And then Coinbase up 7.5%. Things are looking good. Nvidia is down though. So far so good. Will it continue? Well, we have some economic data today. I mean, today and this entire week, got jobless claims, a big jobs report. We got factory orders, a whole lot of stuff. So I think this week, of course, is going to be dictated on economic news and more tariff stuff because it's supposed to start tomorrow, today or tomorrow. Tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and additional tariffs on China is going to start. And a new Treasury Secretary, Bassett, thinks that, no, these tariffs won't cause inflation. That would be good if we don't have additional inflation. But that's all starting today. So I guess this is the reason why other markets around the world, they're not sure of what to think. But we'll see. We'll see. But, going back to the announcement that happened over the weekend, obviously most of you guys saw this by now. I created 2 videos about this yesterday. So very, very big deal, right? This was posted on Truth Social about creating a crypto reserve, not just a Bitcoin reserve, a crypto reserve that'll be filled with Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Sol, and ADA. And these are the ones I've been talking about forever, except ETH. I'm still not a fan of ETH. But, if ETH goes into a crypto reserve, that's great. Great for ETH. But I have been talking about American-based crypto. And if you guys didn't watch my Sunday walk video yesterday, you should, because I speculated on more US-based crypto that could be added in, because he did leave this open. Because look at this. And obviously, Bitcoin and ETH, as other valuable currencies, will be at the heart of reserve. I think this is just the beginning. There will be more that will be added. It might take a while. But I think, you know, once this gets going, there will be others that will be added, right? But that's not all. So this just came out earlier today that there will be an investment announcement today. Okay, this is not talking about yesterday or the weekend. Something else is going to be announced today. I don't know what. I don't know what else he could be saying, but there is going to be something. Now, here's the thing. Even though this is planned and talked about and Trump wants to make this happen, Congress does have to approve. Okay, Congress has to approve this crypto reserve. Unless there's a couple ways to do it. Of course, this does need congressional approval, but Trump has also talked about creating a sovereign fund and using that fund to invest in things. So that's a second way of doing this, is just use a sovereign fund and making investments with that, right? Buying up all the crypto. So there's that too. But seeing how pro crypto we are now in the US, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a big deal for Congress to vote on this and get it approved. You know, most of the Congress members hold crypto now. And you see all these states, 20 plus something states that are trying to add a Bitcoin reserve. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be that hard to pass Congress. Maybe it'll be quite simple. But I'm really curious to see what announcement gets announced today. Something even bigger? Something even, I don't know. Something's going to be said today. Now, David Sachs, the person that's the new crypto czar, okay, there's some little controversy because people start calling him out because, you know, he has been in crypto, right? And people are afraid that he's benefiting from all these announcements. But David Sachs said, I sold all my cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, ETH, and SOL prior to the start of administration. He's a big SOL guy too. So he's saying there is no conflict of interest at all. He sold everything before he took up the position. But you know what? People are still saying he's a big investor and partner in Bitwise. And the top 5 holdings of Bitwise just happen to be Bitcoin, ETH, SOL, XRP, and ADA. Now, that could be a total coincidence, right? Because these are the 5 major projects that a lot of people talk about. I talk about them too. So Bitwise, you know, having these 5 as the 5 biggest holdings does not necessarily mean that there was some kind of insider thing going. But obviously, if David Sachs is part of Bitwise and he's familiar with those crypto, he's going to be in Trump's ear and saying, well, these are the 5 that I would go with, right? But, you know, this goes back to, yeah, a lot of these people probably, even though they don't directly hold crypto, they have some kind of interest, right? And I don't know. In terms of David Sachs, I don't know if it's intentional, but obviously he's been in this space. He is a VC, he's an entrepreneur, so he's going to be having positions in companies that will benefit, obviously, right? Just like all the Congress people that make hundreds of millions of dollars after they go into office, because they kind of know. And, you know, it's pretty obvious. This was missed. Because if I saw, there's another tweet that went out right before, like 12 hours before announcement. If I saw this in time, I would have done the same thing. There was a whale, someone that opened up a $200 million position. 123 million on ETH, 72 million on BTC, and placed a 50x leverage on both. 50x. That's equivalent. What is that? That's equivalent to having a $10 billion Is that right? Yeah, that's equivalent because a 5x would be a billion. That's equivalent to having a $10 billion position of long on ETH and Bitcoin 12 hours before the announcement. This is someone that had inside information. This person made probably $1 billion, if not more, on these trades. This is crazy. This is not even like a 5x leverage, 10. This is a 50x leverage at the bottom right before things started going up. So, you know, there's obviously there are insiders that are benefiting a ton from this, but this is just crazy. This came out at night on the 1st, and I missed it. If I saw this, I would have tweeted it out for you guys, and I would have done not a 50x, but I would have followed this. This is pretty telling that someone knew something was going to happen. This is insane. Absolutely insane. Anyways, gotta look for those signs, man. In the future, if we see these kind of big whale moves, you know something's going to happen. Something big is going to happen. That's just crazy. It's a $10 billion long, basically. But, you know, going back to the reserve, Brian Armstrong, you know, even though he's the head of Coinbase, and he would love it to have like 5 different crypto other than one being a strictly reserve, he still thinks that, hey, just maybe Bitcoin would be the best option. And I do think most Bitcoin maxis and most in the community would agree that, hey, let's do that Bitcoin reserve first, right? Bitcoin's the big daddy and leads the way. Let's get that going first before introducing the others. But obviously, pumping up the bags of, you know, ADA holders and XRP holders and SOL holders and even ETH holders, no one's going to complain, right? But a lot of people do agree that maybe we should just do a Bitcoin reserve. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There is an announcement today. We'll see what gets announced more, I guess, today. You know what? In this announcement, I've said this before, and this is one of those moments. It happens all the time. Okay, when you have a ton of people selling, when you have a ton of people mass selling due to fear, it's never a good thing. And I made this example with ETFs. When you have billions upon billions of outflow, this is from Wall Street mostly, they're going to end up buying back at a higher price. So even on Friday, we actually had a net positive. Even though it seemed like we weren't going anywhere, we were recovering maybe a little bit from our bottom of 78,000. But this 3 billion outflow that happened prior, a lot of those people will come back. They will come back and they will buy at a higher price. So that's why, you know, you just don't want to panic sometimes, okay? Even if it gets scary, really, really, really scary, if you're a long-term holder, you're a believer, then you just continue to hold. You don't panic sell. People that sold at 78,000, 80,000, 82,000, 84,000, 85,000, right? Now they're probably wondering, oh my God, I need to buy back. And they're going to buy back at a higher price, right? Classic case of market manipulation or price suppression or, you know, whatever. Or just panic dumping. It doesn't usually lead to good things. And when everyone's calling for destruction of Bitcoin, you know that's usually a turning point too. So obviously those that decided to pick up and load up have benefited. Metaplanet did it. I'm surprised Saylor did not announce a big buy. I mean, he's the one that's buying every single week. I'm actually really surprised he didn't announce a big purchase over the weekend or last week today. Maybe he still will. But, you know, you got a DCA. You got to take advantage when you can. And if you can't, that's okay. Just hodl. I did see this, and this is good. Well, not so good. I should have some compassion because we had so many longs liquidated over the past few weeks, right? Including one to 78K. But, you know, our spike upwards also caused a lot of shorts to be liquidated. This time in the opposite direction. This is good, but still, I should show some compassion because no one should be losing all of their money. It's tough. So we had $500 million get liquidated yesterday because of the sudden pump. You just don't know sometimes. You really don't. And if you're looking at the liquidation like wall or levels, there is a big one at 95,000. You could see on the bottom side, yes, we have a lot of levels, but not a big level like on the upside, 95. So if we get a little bit more momentum when we start going upwards, we're going to clear that 95,000 soon. We weren't that far away. I mean, obviously, you know, we were very, very close, right? But we could definitely go up and clear that. So that would be good. Very, very good. Now, the CME gap. I hate CME gaps. Seems like they become a self-fulfilling prophecy and everyone keeps talking about it. But you know what? We had a moment like that back in 2023 too, when Bitcoin was still around the 20s. We had a big moment you could see when Bitcoin was at 25K and it went all the way down to 19K to fill a nasty gap. And then what happened afterwards? A big sudden recovery back to that 25K, and then the next leg up. So if you're looking at what's happening right now in 2025, it looks very similar. Now that we filled that nasty gap, are we going to recover back up to 108,000 soon, and then finally be ready to move forward? We'll see. We'll see, but if you look at the pattern, they're so similar. They're so similar. And the CME gap thing, man. You know, there are gaps on the top too. We have a gap that's around 98,000 also. So gaps don't just exist on the bottom side. They exist on the top side too. So could we be filling that 98, 99 gap shortly? Hey, maybe. Maybe. Right? But, you know, outside of these gaps, I've mentioned this before. We've seen worse times before. We've seen a lot of sideways and consolidation times before. But the good thing is, if you look at the previous ones, there's usually like a shakeout period or a shakeout time. Right? Like what happened in mid 2024 when we dropped 30% down to 48,000, 49,000. That was like a shakeout. And we've seen many times like that before. It's kind of like what we just went through. Again, panic selling does not help. And all the times that we had before, you know, we saw similar cases happen. And a lot of people get driven out. They think things are going to be much worse. And then guess what? Bitcoin recovers and continues forward. If you truly understand, you know that there is no better. That's really it. All right, outside of all these, I did see this. I wonder what would happen. I already know what would happen, but imagine if you checked your bank account and it showed that it had $81 trillion in there. I don't even know how this is possible, but Citibank accidentally credited a user's account with 81 trillion when it meant to send only $280. This happened last year, but I don't know why it's coming out now. How do you accidentally type in 81 trillion when it's supposed to be 280? And how can you even type 81 trillion? I would figure you can't even do that. But it goes to show you why blockchain is still the best, because even with traditional finance, even with all the safeguards and rules and stuff like that with the banking industry, you have mistakes happen, right? Now, if that person decided to cash out, most likely it'll be clawed back. But, think about what kind of disaster that could have been if that person actually knew what they were doing. What if they tried to transfer out $1 trillion or something like that? That would be wild. Lastly, I missed this, but I said it yesterday, but Hedera, this is pretty big that Swift is now utilizing Hedera. Well, they're testing the network for all their messaging, for all the banks that they work with, and they transfer over, or they help transfer over $400 billion a day, 150 trillion annually, and they're testing out the Hedera network. So I think they are definitely a prime candidate to be added in the crypto reserve if the spot opens up. I think they would definitely be a likely candidate. So that's a big thing for them. Big thing for them. All right. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. MicroStrategy still holding their gain at 10%. NASDAQ is turning red today. Again, a lot of people afraid of what the tariffs may do. And Bitcoin has come down a little bit to 90,600, which kind of sucks. So we'll see. We'll see if we could turn around today. But this week is the start of the tariffs. So there's still a little bit uneasiness about that, and Wall Street is obviously still selling off tech right now. But you know what? We got that other big investment announcement that's coming today. I don't know what it's going to say, but that could definitely turn things around really, really quickly again. All right, let's do some Q&A. Even with the little retrace right now, if you look at this, XRP is still up 18% from a day ago. Solana's up 14%. Cardano's up nearly 50%. Chainlink up 14%. So most of the good ones are still keeping most of their gains. But obviously a retracement. I mean, I kind of actually expected last night to retrace down because we did go up so much. But I was hoping that Wall Street would FOMO right now. But Wall Street is still uneasy about the tariffs. All right, let's see. Let me scroll up and see if I missed anything. CLT, were you in Florida these past days? No, I was in Denver. Market makers just doing what they have done all year. That is correct. Well, on the 15-minute, now we're back down to oversold levels. Look at that. V-shaped recovery from that 78,000, filling that gap, started recovering, and then boom. So really the next level is to get back up here. 95,000, we have a lot of shorts are going to get liquidated at 95,000. If we get backed up there again and get a short squeeze, then we're looking good. But a lot of people are worried about tariffs. MicroStrategy is still holding the biggest right now. Coinbase still okay. No capital gains tax would be huge. I don't think he can announce that. I mean, if he did, because of all the tariffs, that would be huge, but I don't know if that actually could be announced. To here, I have 40K on XRP and 20K on Doge. Would you recommend me to change my Dogecoin position and buy something else? I can't recommend that. You should check out my Sunday walk video. I did talk about both Litecoin and Doge. Maybe that'll help you with your decision. We're still at 5% for Bitcoin, 4% for ETH. You know, the thing is, ETH didn't really move. Out of all the coins that were announced yesterday, ETH benefited the least. That kind of tells you something. That means no one is really excited about ETH being added to the reserve. But, regardless, still holding its gains 5%, 4%, 16%, 12%, 48%. Those are good. I think this is just clearing out the leverage. On the 5-minute, we're oversold again. Very oversold. On the 15-minute, we're oversold. 1 hour, we're still coming down a little bit. MJ Matrix, I understand why we need Bitcoin Reserve, but can you explain why we need XRP, Sol, and ADA? We don't really need it, but it's really a way to support crypto and support American-based crypto projects. That's what it comes down to. I mean, that's how I see it. I think this is mostly because of Brad Garlinghouse. You know, it was reported before that he had a discussion with Trump about adding XRP to the reserve. And he said it wasn't just about adding XRP, it was about adding other good projects. So it could be due to him and David Sachs and everyone getting in Trump's ear and saying, hey, you should add some other coins rather than just Bitcoin. Nick says it stands to reason that other nation states around the world will be more inclined to stock up on Bitcoin given its non-sovereign nature than made in USA alts. I mean, it really depends. If you want to make money, you still want to go with the biggest ones. Now we're recovering. This is, this is almost like planned on purpose, it seems like, to wipe out the longs. A lot of people place longs like right around here, and this is probably to just liquidate them. You wipe them out again. The market makers have been really, really good wiping out leverage on both sides, longs and short. Retro, Fibonacci time level increases as time goes on. Could it be possible that the bull run doesn't actually start until next year? I mean, it's always possible. But based on what has happened in the past, based on history and, the prior cycles, it's unlikely. But, I mean, there's always a chance. Maybe it gets pushed back. But the bull run is actually, we're in the bull run. So I don't know if you're referring to just like altcoin season, but the bull run is already in effect. That's why we're already above our previous high. If we weren't above our previous high, then I would agree with you, but we are. NorCal, if you're Russia or China, would you want to devalue our wealth fund by dumping these crypto? Well, first of all, these have not been added to a reserve yet, so they would not be dumping right now. And plus, you got to keep in mind a lot of these funds around the world and companies that hold them, they stand to make a lot of money if these crypto go up. So why would they dump also? Yeah, I mean, today, look at this. NVIDIA is down 4%, 5%. So today it's just like, again, sell-off tech day. If NVIDIA is down 5%, man, that's bad. Microsoft is down. Google is down. Again, today is just a sell-off tech day. But I think this was just to wipe out the longs again. How are we in a bull market? Young, what was our peak in 2021 for Bitcoin? It was 69,000. Where are we now? 90,000. So yes, we're in a bull run. If we were stuck at 50,000 right now or 40,000, you can make the argument the bull run never happened. And we peaked at 109. And that's not going to be the peak of this cycle. RAH, I can't stand crypto anymore. I'm effing losing my mind. What are you losing your mind about? Was it not just yesterday we were at 85,000? And not a few days ago we were at 78,000? So why are you not looking at, we went from 78,000 back to 90,000? That's a pretty good recovery in a couple of days. But I will say the tariff stuff is definitely, I mean, I've been talking about tariff stuff for a while, right? Tariff stuff is what's making Wall Street very uneasy, what kind of prompted all this. But, you know, now that we got that out of the way, we'll see. But the tariff stuff is not going to go away for some time, right? Trump is going to continue to place tariffs, and we got to see what happens from the other countries. Space 5 says tariffs will cause deflation, which will lower the rates. Well, the thing is, if Wall Street actually thought that, Wall Street would be rallying. That's the thing. I think most on Wall Street does not feel that way. One House Productions, Karate Combat Rules. I'm glad you enjoy it. I enjoyed it. Everyone there enjoys it. If you could ever, if any of you guys ever attend a crypto conference where we hold IFC fight or even just a Karate Combat fight, it's awesome. KJ, I had a price prediction for ADA of $3 to $5 peak before the reserve news. Do you think this reserve news, ADA could reach $8 to $10 now? When you look at ADA benefited the most from the news yesterday because I think no one thought that ADA would be in the reserve. But, man, they're still up. For people that are panicking today, I mean, ADA went from literally 65 cents to 95. It's still 50% higher than yesterday. And ADA actually hasn't been this high since beginning of February. And actually, if you go back, ADA is at the same point as like November. So it actually brought ADA back to a pretty good spot. But anyways, if you go back, ADA peaked at like 3 something, almost $4 before. 310? So if you double from there, it'll be like $6 something. So can I do a double from its peak? It definitely could. I think there's a possibility of that. We still have World War III to suffer through. Hopefully that never happens. MicroStrategy, Tesla, Coinbase still holding on green, which is good. Nvidia is getting killed. Nvidia is getting slaughtered right now. Minus 5%. Jeremy says my 65% gains yesterday weren't fake. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, right? I even said this in my video yesterday. With a pump like yesterday, it was very, very overbought. We needed to come down. I actually expected us to go down more to like 91, 92 yesterday, but we actually held at 93, 94, didn't go down. Now we're simply getting rid of the overbought levels. Plus, with Wall Street selling off tech right now, plus, I'm sure a lot of market makers are trying to get rid of the long leverage. This is kind of to be expected. The gains from yesterday have not been wiped out. It would, again, not surprise me if we slowly continue back up to 93. But we'll see. And this announcement, this big announcement today, could really drive things. I don't know when he's going to be making an announcement, but it's supposed to be today. Another big investment announcement today. Thoughts on Story IP? I don't really have any thoughts on it. I did see that it did go up a lot. It debuted, TG'd, and it was like above $1 billion. I don't know too much about it. I'll probably cover that in the future. Fine by Ryan. See? Now we're starting to recover upwards. This is really to wipe out the leverage. I really think this was. Too many people had longs open, and that was what that was for. Sonic worth DCA into. Sonic actually has held very well. Phantom, in case you guys don't know, Sonic, it was Phantom. It got rebranded, but they also updated their chain greatly. And one of the good things about Sonic is they give back 90% of the fees to the developers. So all the developers on Sonic get a portion, a large portion of the fees collected. So I'm hearing a lot of developers like that. And it's EVM compatible, so it's very easy for DApp makers to move over. So I think Sonic could do very well. Ryan says, George, why do you think people are so scared and have a short-term mindset? You know, there's always new people in the space. I get it. And I get people, even long-term holders. You know, everyone just wants to see Bitcoin go up and crypto go up forever. No one wants to see these corrections, even though we know in our hearts that they will happen. And even though most of us know that we will get through these dips and consolidations, it still kind of sucks to see your portfolio go down and not keep making new highs. But there are many, many, many new people that come in and they bought. Like I covered a story last week. We haven't had this many people sell at a loss since FTX. And that happened last week. We had a lot of panic sellers. Okay, and mostly they were people that bought between 1 day to I think it was 2 months. So basically, it's all the people that came in at peak. Crypto Moose. Watch my Sunday walk video yesterday. I talked about Chainlink. Do you think Ripple releasing escrow, the timing of this Trump announcement? I think Ripple's been talking, or Brad Garlinghouse has been talking with Trump and Trump administration a lot. So I think they're doing a lot of things in the background that we don't know about. Yeah. Nvidia is still getting killed. Tariff worries left and right. That's what the name of the game is. You know, this thing about Peter Schiff being pro Bitcoin, that's actually not true. If you look, I looked at his tweets. I was going to cover something about him turning pro, but if you look at his tweets, he's still very, very anti Bitcoin and anti crypto altogether. So I don't know, the spin on Peter Schiff turning like pro, he's not really pro at all. Oncology, I actually don't have any more Nvidia. I did. I switched all to MicroStrategy, but that actually ended up being a worse move because MicroStrategy has been decimated. But yeah, I'm hoping MicroStrategy starts recovering because they got absolutely slaughtered the last few months. Why did Satoshi vanish right when government started paying attention? Well, guess. Guess why? He's afraid. He, she, they are afraid of being arrested or kidnapped or whatever, right? Peter Schiff, I don't think could ever see the light at the end of the tunnel because this is his persona. Like he has to be a Bitcoin hater. He can't turn pro Bitcoin. That would go against his ethos and his company, which is a gold selling company. He can't ever admit that Bitcoin is better because that's going to turn off a lot of his clients. So I don't think he can ever change. All right, guys. I'll conclude. Let's see where Bitcoin heads to tonight. Hey, don't be discouraged, guys. Even though we've fallen from 93 down to 90, let's not forget just yesterday morning, we're at 85,000. And the day before, we were at 78,000. We are still recovering, but obviously there's still a lot of tariff stuff, scariness, that Wall Street does not like. Okay, but we had a very good rise, and there are going to be more things announced, including something big today. So let's see. Let's see what gets announced later today. And I could very easily see Bitcoin head right back up to 93,000 by tonight. We'll see. We'll see. All right, smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. See you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care.